and gentlemen, welcome on into another fantastic episode of Bar Talk. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, happy Thursday, happy Friday, happy Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Whenever it is that you are listening to this, guys, I hope you're having the best day ever. And if it's not going the way you want it to go turn it around, make it better. You and only you have the power to turn this day around and make it extraordinary. Ask yourself, what kind of day do you want to have? Do you want to have a good day? Do you want to have a bad day? Happy, sad, high, low? You choose. So what kind of day do you want to have? I'm going to have a good day today. I've actually had a great day today because I'm filming this and it's like 8:00 at night. And here's the funny thing, guys, as I'm filming this. So like you can't see. This is we're revealing some behind the scenes movie magic, iPod, YouTube magic. I have ring lights on me if you can't tell. You can probably see them in the reflections. Anyways, I always wonder what my neighbors think when I turn the lights on at night because they're super bright. And I don't have like my like blinds open, but like I have them slightly turned, but you can like see the I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. But yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. That's a total sidebar. I really don't know why I felt the need to share that, but apparently I felt the need to share that. Guys, we are at episode 93 today, and it is going to be a fantastic one for a few reasons. I will share with you who our guest is in a moment. Well, actually, you've already read the title, so it doesn't matter. I'll just say it right now. I'll say it right now. Wow. Guys, we were having DJ Rybski on. So for any of my like local Chicago people, my Southside people, you probably have heard him. You've seen him kind of on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram. DJ is a comedian. He is someone that I guess, based off how the neighborhood is, we all kind of grew up together. Him and my brother played baseball together. His brother, who you will find out, is a former guest on the show, Dine and Designer, Bobby O'Brien, who I went to grade school with and high school with. And it is his brother, both doing some very creative things. I absolutely think DJ is hilarious. I have laughed out loud harder than I care to admit at some of his like TikToks and reels that he's shared online. He is hysterical on Twitter. I'm going to link everywhere you can find him at, guys, in the show notes. So go give him a like, go give him a follow. And he has a show coming up too, which I believe it is going to be May 20th. That is correct. Again, that will be linked in the show notes as well. As of right now, I have nothing going on that day, which means I'm going. So if anyone needs me, I'll be busy because there is nothing like a good laugh. Like, you ever have that really good belly laugh, guys, that just like fills your soul a little bit? I went to a comedy club not that long ago, maybe less than a month ago, and I was just by myself, cackling away, having a grand old time. It was fantastic. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. I think it's a good one. I do have a few things though that I want to say before we kind of like dive on into this conversation. It's a little bit like all over the place, but in the best way possible. But I have some news. So if you watched last week's episode, I teased at the end that I got a job. And what was pretty exciting about getting a job is exciting. One, two, I found out about the job offer not even 5 minutes before the national anthem was being played at opening day, which was awesome. But I'm going to share with you guys what the job is. So I am one of the new producers for the Believe Podcast Network, and this will be the new hosting site for Bar Talk as well. So I'm very excited. This is something that I have been working for. This is something that, if I'm being really honest, kind of really happen chance fell into my lap, but it's not like I did nothing. Like, I should say that. There were a lot of I've been listening to Taylor Swift only one Taylor Swift song on repeat lately. That's a lie. I listen to all of Taylor Swift on repeat, but the one song that I've been listening to a lot lately is her song Invisible Strings, and I believe that's from the Evermore album. And I think what's just I said this to my girlfriend earlier today, and she's like, "You need to put this on a shirt." And the universe is funny sometimes because this job coming and just the way it happened and how it happened was 1,000% invisible strings being pulled together. And the other thing I want to say too is if you are in a situation right now where you want something to happen in your life, whether it's the job, um, the relationship, or like anything that it is you want to have, you can manifest it and you can bring that experience into your reality, but you have to put in the work. So, what does that mean? I'm going to share this with you. So, on a few podcasts back, I had talked about how I always said to myself, when I got that dream job of mine, there were two things I was going to do. Okay. The first thing was I always wanted to get this tattoo that is on the back of my neck. It's a Northern Star. And it's my reminder in life that no matter where life takes me, like as long as my heart is facing north, everything will be the same. Like things are going to change, right? Like there are things in my life that I want to change that I'm working on to change. But as long as my heart, my core, my soul of who I am, of who Jenna is facing north, everything's good. Okay. So I got the tattoo before I got the job. And I drank this beautiful bourbon that I said I would never open up. Okay. This Basil Hayden that again, just so ironic. There's a lot of irony in this. Um, I'll add one more kind of ironic thing to this. God, this is really funny. Um, I'm going to drink this towards the end if anyone would like to pour a drink with me. Obviously, if you're driving, don't, because that's not safe. But if you're in the comfort of your house or like with others, guys, pour yourself a drink, okay? If you're of age. But if you don't want to, that's fine too. Anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is the day that I got this tattoo, um, they were filming Chicago PD at my family's bar. And I wasn't going to go because I was tired. And my girlfriend and I had gotten dinner the night before. We went and got tattoos in the morning and then got like dinner. We just like kind of had ourselves a day. And I was like, no, let me go. I'll stop by. I was, if for any of my like have been here for a while, Bar Talk people, Leroyce Hawkins, who plays Atwater on the show, was filming. And I was like, I should really go say hi and like introduce myself to him because the only time we've met was when we got really drunk on Instagram Live. So let me go and see him and see what's up. So I went to the bar, um, basically just to say hi, and then I was going to leave. And again, those invisible strings, I ran into a family friend that basically was a like opened the door for the rest of the dominoes to fall in a very kind of funny way. So don't ever be afraid to tell people what you want and just let the universe do its magic. Because had I not been there, had I not been honest with that person about I had applied for a job earlier, I didn't get the job, I also didn't want the job. And if I wasn't honest about everything that eventually unfolded, um, I don't know. I don't know. But again, it's just so funny. So I'm really excited, guys. I'm really happy. What was I saying? Manifesting. Yes. So I got the tattoo before I got the job. I drank the drink before I got the job. Okay. I felt the feelings and you have to ask yourself, this is what's funny about manifesting. You have to ask yourself, what is it that you want to feel? It's not necessarily the object itself. It's how it makes you feel. So what is it that job is going to give you that you want? And for me, it was a sense of growth, a sense of stability, a sense of financial stability, and a sense of meeting new people along the way. Like those were like the feelings that I wanted. So if you're someone who's in a position, like you have to ask yourself, it's not necessarily the job that you want, it's what comes with the job that you want. So ask yourself, what are those feelings you want that job to give you? Because that, guys, once you start feeling that, and again, I know this sounds super strange, but once you start feeling it, and it's going to feel a little delusional at first, don't get me wrong, because you're like playing pretend, but it's not pretend. And you're feeling those feelings that you want from what is eventually coming your way. So yeah, do that. Because guys, I did this and it was a month later. It was a month later that I got the job. Okay, I have two things for you very quickly. Number one, if this is your first time, welcome on into Bar Talk, guys. I love having you here, and I would love it even more if you would subscribe and give us a rating, give us a 5-star review, follow us along. It is at Bar Talk with Jenna across the board, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Wherever you get podcasts is where you can find me, okay? And however you get your podcasts, subscribe, leave a review, leave a 5-star rating. If you could seriously take 30 seconds out of your day to write something sweet, guys, it would mean the absolute world to me. We are growing a baby here. So yeah, if you could do that, that would be great. If you're someone who is watching this, hi guys, it's so nice to be chatting with you. Again, like this video, leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell button on YouTube, because that is how you're going to get all the notifications. And for my YouTube people, you obviously get the notifications for when my drink of the week comes out, which, as you guys know, or if you don't know, that's fine. That's what I'm here to tell you. We have new drinks coming out every Friday. Who doesn't love a new cocktail? I love a cocktail. It's where they're all under my bar. And I'm going to have one afterwards. And by a cocktail, I mean I'm going to have a bourbon neat. Okay. All right. Number two, stay until the end for a segment I like to call Here's a Tip for Ya. I think you're going to enjoy it. Okay, guys, that is all I have for you. Let's go ahead and have a lot of fun and a lot of laughs with this fantastic conversation with DJ Rybski. Enjoy. Why don't we just start off by you explaining the roofie story? Let's just go right into it. Let's just go right into it.
So I went to college in Bridgeport, went to IIT.
Yeah.
And it was my junior year. It was it was my last final before winter break.
Okay.
I played baseball there. And I was working at Line Drive, batting cage.
Okay.
So I was working at batting cage. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I took my last final. I just got off work. My friends are like, hey, we're at Streeters. It's a bar downtown.
Okay.
Yeah, right by Water Tower. So I meet my friends at Streeters.
Yeah.
They're already hammered.
Yeah.
And they're all leaving. They have red-eye flights to Arizona and stuff the next morning.
God.
So I meet them there. It's probably 11:30 at this point. I have 2 drinks. The next thing I know, I wake up. I'm in handcuffs.
Okay. Was there some kinky shit involved, or were you arrested?
No. I was arrested because what happened was somehow in those 2 drinks, somebody roofied me, or I accidentally drank somebody else's drink that was roofied. I don't know. But I woke up, and like I said, my friends had red-eye flights. So we went to McDonald's after the bar. I was completely fine, completely sober.
McDonald's on Chicago?
Yes, right on Chicago. Yeah. The one that you shouldn't go to.
The one that you shouldn't go to,
Yeah.
but that's where everyone ends up going to? Yes.
Exactly. So we end up there. I'm completely fine, and my friend Matt will tell you. I ordered food. I was perfectly sober. Had the tray. Mm-hmm. He said as soon as I sat down, it was like someone hit a switch, and I just slumped. So they're freaking out, and my buddy, one of my buddies that was there, he's like, we have flights at 6 a.m. What are we gonna do? So they took me on the red line back to Bridgeport, and the one kid knew a girl that lived in my neighborhood. She was by Midway with me. He matched with her on Tinder, and she's like, hey, we have to leave in 3 hours. Can you come pick him up? She's like, yeah, I know where he lives. And she didn't know where I lived. Yeah, she brought me into the wrong house.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So that's why you got arrested.
That's why I got arrested, yeah.
The door was open to the house that she just, I'm assuming she like probably brought you in, dropped you off, put you on the couch then, right?
So, no, from what I understand, I was completely blacked out. I was roofied, as one would say.
Yep.
And it was like -3 degrees out.
Oh, those are the fun days.
And yeah, like from what I understand, I was like laying in the back of the car. I couldn't speak. And they're like, tell us where you live. And I was like, somewhere over here. Even though I couldn't talk. I don't know. So then I like walked into the gangway, and I guess I was just like sleeping on the back porch.
Yeah.
But because it was so cold, I just let myself in.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, and then I woke up in handcuffs, and it was insane.
Well, that's quite a story to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was roofied once. Kind of recently, actually. July? It would have been the smoke out, after the smoke out. So I worked the Windy City smoke out every year, and all the employees on the end of Sunday, we all go back to Bub City. So we go back to Bub City, and by the time we get there, it's closing, and we're like, what the hell? Like, you guys always stay open late on this day. Like, we're all industry people. Like, we're gonna take care of you. So anyways, my buddy that I was with was like, hey, we're gonna go down the street to this bar. I guess that's where everyone's going. So we walk in, and it's a club, and I'm like, this is like, I literally look like a cowgirl right now, like a dirty cowgirl. Like, this is the last place I need to be into right now. And it's like one of those clubs where like the girls are in like cages dancing.
Okay.
And they're in like bras and underwear and lingerie. And I just was like mesmerized watching them. And I was like, why am I staring at this woman right now doing God knows what? Well, I'm thinking while I was staring at her, I think someone slipped something into my drink.
Yeah, that's a professional.
Yeah, well, it was a professional. And it's
Yeah.
also like, I mean, it was on Hubbard Street, so it's shady enough to begin with in River North. And I could feel it like coming in. And I called and I went outside and just grabbed a cab. And I told my buddy, and I was like, I couldn't even say it. And I said my address.
Wait, you say you called a cab?
Well, I went outside. I couldn't even like call an Uber because my thumbs weren't working. So I went outside and I just flagged down a cab. And the guy's like, and there was this other guy that I was like flirting with, and he was like, I'm like, no. And I was like, cab. And so I go in, get the cab, and I get home, and I just remember like slapping myself. I'm like, stay awake, just wait until you get into the house. And I went in, and it was like a fucking crash landing. Like, I just fell, like, front door, just like fell down.
It's crazy that you got roofied back into the 80s. You called a cab? I mean, what?
I know.
Are you kidding me?
I know. Well, it was literally like if I were to take my phone, I was like, no, we're just gonna go outside. And at that point, there were shockingly cabs waiting, like at the curb.
Yeah.
So I was like, you guys must know this fucking roofie system or whatever. Like, it was, I was like,
you called the cab, you went home, you played Pac-Man. That's what. Then you put on the colored TV.
And
That's
then I
like,
put on the color TV.
Do you remember like when it hit you?
It was like I don't remember. I just remember feeling like something's not right. Like, and I only had at that point, I had one drink at Bub City. This club that we were at, I had 2 drinks, and was like not chugging.
Yeah,
It was like sipping. Had eaten plenty. It was at a fucking barbecue festival. There's plenty of carbs soak up the shit in my gut. And I was like, yeah, no, I definitely got roofied. And then it's that sleep the next day. That's when it's a different kind of sleep. You know, when you wake up, when you woke up from that, you probably felt a little different.
Oh, I woke up in handcuffs. I had no idea where I was. But it was funny because I felt like someone like lift me up, and I was like, what is happening? And there was a and like I was still like not sober. I like was so out of it. Where like it was like an out of body experience. I was like watching myself get let out of this house, and I had no idea where I was because I wasn't supposed to end up back in Midway. I was supposed to sleep at one of my buddies' condos, lock up before he left, and then lock up before I left. And
that didn't happen.
Yeah,
that
no,
did
not
not
at all.
happen.
The crazy part was I was a block and a half from my house. It was so close. It was so close.
From the house that you went into at Midway?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
And you didn't know the neighbors?
I didn't know who the lady was. Actually, what was crazy is the lady, she was like older. She was like,
you probably scared her.
Well, so her name was Dr. Yoshi.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of doctor she was. But she did have doctor in her title.
Yeah.
And her husband was like a Catholic preacher. They're from India, then they moved to Chicago, and then her husband was like a Catholic preacher, and he passed away like a week before.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks before. So she was staying at her daughter's house overnight and then coming back to the house like in the afternoons.
Okay.
So they came back in the afternoon and they found me and then they called the cops.
That's a great story.
I mean, luckily they didn't charge me with anything.
Did you eventually like explain to them like what happened? Were they like did you talk to them or no?
So this is the thing. I got let into the cop car. I'm in the back. I'm handcuffed. I have no idea what's going on. Mm-hmm. And then we get like a mile away, and the one cop goes, "Hey, we found someone in there with you, and there was condoms on the floor." And I start freaking out because I'm like,
"There's no way that was working."
I'm like, someone did something to me. What? And then the cop turns around. He's like, "He's just fucking with you." And I was like, "That's not funny, dude."
They have a funny sense of humor.
Yeah, I know.
It's a little sick and twisted, but it is funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The worst part was that then we get stuck by a train, and then we're sitting there at this train. There's like a train in Midway, so it's like taking for like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
So we're waiting for probably 5 minutes. One of the cops turns around, he looks at me, he goes, "Hey son, you ever see the movie Hangover?" And I was like, "I was just thinking about that, officer." And then we laughed about it. And then he's like, "We still have to arrest you. We still have to arrest you." I was like, "That's fair. That's fair. Do your job."
That's totally fair.
So,
okay, so you started doing stand-up in 2019?
2019.
2019. Yeah. Okay, so what was the series of events that led you to grab a mic and go on stage and be like, "Yeah, I could do this"?
So I was graduating from IIT.
Mm-hmm. What was your degree in?
IT.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I was going to go play my second season of baseball overseas in Europe. So I was going to go to Belgium, and like 2 weeks before I went, one of my best friends from high school, we were talking about, we both like kind of wanted to do it. We wanted to go like an open mic. And so we both went to this open mic in Aurora. And it was one of those things where like I told my parents I was going because I'm like, "Yeah, Luke wants to do it. I'm going to go support him." And then he told his parents the same thing. He's like, "Yeah, I don't want to do this. DJ does. I'm just going to go." So we were both like kind of embarrassed to
admit it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I went up the first night I went. I wore jean shorts. In hindsight,
fringed?
They weren't fringed, but I think I was just trying to get in the European mindset.
Okay. Oh yeah, that is a huge European thing. Yeah.
Huge European thing. So then I went up. I got like a few laughs. I did like 3 minutes, get a few laughs. It really is. It's like heroin. So you're like, ah. And then like a week later, I flew to Belgium. And then while I was in Belgium, I was telling people, like, "Yeah, I do comedy." And they were like, "Oh, but I did it one time."
Yeah. But you did. You do comedy.
Yeah. And then I came back and I just hit the ground running and was doing it every day. And
so that's an ant. Hold on. Let's get off my notes, please. There we go. It's that time of year. So it was your buddy. Was he that like nudge to push you of like, "Yeah, you could probably do this"? I've
always wanted to do it. I think we both always wanted to do it. And he found the open mic and then we just went and. But I distinctly remember like telling my parents, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just going because Luke is going."
So what happened when you got back and told your parents? Like they obviously asked, like, "How did it go?" Right? What'd you say?
I think it was one of those things where my parents were like, "If we don't bring it up, he won't bring it up, and then he'll maybe never do it again." Oh,
so they didn't want you to do it?
I don't think they cared. Okay. I just thought they were like, "Yeah, whatever, man. Just get the hell out of the house." I think it was something like that. And now they're super supportive and all that stuff. So.
They have two very creative children.
Yeah.
So they are very supportive.
Are we the first siblings to do this?
I think you were the first siblings to come on the podcast.
I respect that.
Yeah, so for people listening, DJ's brother is Rybski. Bobby.
Yeah, he's a musician, dying designer, also does baseball cards and all that.
Yeah,
so
he's killing it. He was just in here on Thursday. I served him with Bowman. I love that cute little fluffy pillow of a dog.
That dog lives the life.
He lives the life.
Yeah.
Lives the life. Okay, so I am a big believer in like just things like I don't know. I had a really weird sequence of events happen to me yesterday. I'm a big TED Talk person.
Okay.
Do you ever watch TED Talks?
I've listened, yeah.
Okay, so a TED Talk came up, and the title was "Why Great Leaders Take Humor Seriously," and I was like, okay, this is interesting. Like, and I don't always watch them when they come up, but I was like, I'm talking to a comedian tomorrow. Let's watch this. And so it was the Stanford Grad School of Business. Two of the professors, one is a behavioral scientist and a corporate strategist, which are two real jobs and real things. And it's how humor is the secret weapon to building bonds, power, creativity, and resilience. So I was curious, in your point, because they talked to like comedians and talked to scientists, like how do you think humor has helped you connect to people, and how do you think it's benefited you?
Well, I definitely get free chicken tenders every weekend. So That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, I think it definitely breaks the ice. It kind of makes people trust you. You
Yeah.
know, like I think if you can make somebody laugh, they're like, all right, this guy's all right.
Yeah.
So I think socially, I think that part's huge, and I think you either have to be like a really hot guy or like a really funny guy. And you kind of, I don't know, like if you're hot, you don't have to be funny. But
Right.
if you're not hot, you better be funny. You better bring something to the table.
Right.
You know. And I think in like a corporate setting, I don't know, like you ever been in like a meeting and the boss makes a joke?
Yeah, and it's bad.
Yeah, but everyone laughs.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
you feel like you have to.
You feel like you have to.
It's like watching Bridgerton when the queen laughs and none of her peasants around
Yeah.
her laugh, and then she's like, "Why aren't you laughing?"
I haven't seen that show, but I assume
Right.
it's
Yeah.
I need to watch that. But I don't know. I don't know about the whole corporate thing because to me that's I don't know where I'm going with this.
It's okay. I just thought it was a really interesting point, and then this was the line that made me laugh. And then it says, so what's happening when we laugh? Our brains release a cocktail of hormones. We release endorphins, giving us a similar feeling to a runner's high. We lower our cortisol, making us feel calmer, and we release endorphins. The same endorphins released during sex, making us feel more bonded. So in essence, as far as our brains are concerned, laughing is like exercising, meditating, and having sex all at the same time. But logistically, it's a lot easier.
Okay. Yeah. I'd like to think that that's what I'm doing up there.
You're giving people a feeling of sex.
Yeah, I'm like, guys, this is better than making love to your wife.
It's better than making love because you know what you're getting every time.
Yeah.
Or maybe you don't, which is better. Right? Maybe it's not because
in sex and comedy, you got to have a closer.
you
gotta
need
have,
to.
You got to have a strong closer.
Strong game,
Yeah.
strong out game.
No, I think it's a good thing though. I think especially like during the pandemic. I mean, comedy shows like when stuff was starting to open up, like for a while, and even like now, like I feel like audiences are like ready to laugh and they want to get the hell out of the house.
I mean, when I started doing this via Instagram Live, I was like, I just want to laugh every night.
Yeah.
So I was like, I get there's like real problems going on in the world, but like we're not going to bring that here. We're just going to laugh, and that's what we did. Like for 10 weeks, we just laughed, and you know, I think maybe cried once or twice, but I mean, I'd prefer to laugh. It was like, why the hell not?
So when you're on Instagram Live, because I've been on Instagram, I've probably went live on Instagram 2 or 3 times, and I always feel awkward
It's so
because
awkward.
you'll have the phone, and then nobody's on it, and then you're waiting,
Yep.
and then someone joins, you're like, hey, what's up, Tony? And then they leave, and then you have to like start that over.
It's
or do you have an audience?
So in the beginning, when I was doing this, I promoted that I was going live.
Okay.
I was like, we're going live every night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Set a reminder, and like on Instagram, you could set reminders for lives. So I was doing that in my story. And then there were times where I would literally ask like my girlfriends, my mom, my family. I'm like, can you please go on to like someone's there? Or like, because this is like, what if no one goes on was my thought. Like, this is so embarrassing. Like I'm talking to myself, which I already do, but I'm doing it on like a public platform.
Yeah.
Or then people can see that no one is in return talking to me. But I actually enjoyed the part that I'm trying to figure out now of like doing this podcast is I miss that live interaction because the comment section was the funniest thing about it. And like I'd be talking to someone and then it's like, okay, let's go check the comments, and it's like, oh, Bobby, that's a dirty thought or comment, but that's hilarious. And oh, Carly, you sick pervert, you know? So like that was a cool part where I think people felt like they could be involved in it.
Okay,
So I do miss that, but I just think people got over it. It was like one of those things that it was like too much was live. So it's like, let's not go live anymore because it's not really fun.
I think doing the whole social media thing, like especially if you're trying to grow to the point where like you have like a fan base. But like before you have a fan base, I feel like posting on social media is one of the most embarrassing things in the world.
Yeah.
You know, like putting out these little clips. Like people are like, oh, look at DJ's doing comedy again. Like it's so, but you have to do it.
It's a part of the game.
Yeah.
I always say to people, I think anything that you are like passionate about in life, you automatically have a love-hate relationship with.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a good point.
And that was how, like, that's how I feel with this podcast. I'm like, I love the podcast. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. It's no secret. My mother's like, you need to be more grateful for it. And I was like, Mom, I am. But like, it doesn't mean I still can't be bothered by it.
Like when you were telling people, like, guys, I'm going to start this podcast. It's pretty embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing. Like,
it's pretty embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing because you're like, no one's gonna listen.
Yeah.
And like, do you care?
That's how stand-up comedy is, though. Like, when people are like, what do you do? And I'm like, I do stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh, okay.
The best is the family members that are like, so what, you go to a family party, and they're like, so what do you do? And you're like, I have a podcast. And they're like, how's it going? And then my favorite question is, so how do you make money? And I'm like, working the corner. So it's going great. Like, I love it so much. But you get it. Like, it's a long game. If you're in this for the short, quick, like, get out.
Yeah.
Go find a sugar daddy. You'll do way better if you do that, because if you're in this for the money, like, I promise you, like, you're gonna be waiting a really long time.
No, you do it for you do it because we need attention.
Exactly.
I think that's what it is.
We're deprived.
Think that's what it is.
Well, you're the middle child, so that makes sense.
I am the middle child, yeah. Yeah, you're somewhere in there.
I'm the oldest, but when you're in a family...
You have 9, there's 27 people in your family.
There's 27 people in my family, 21 first cousins, 24 second cousins and counting. My mom's one of 9, so, 18 with spouses. I was cut off my whole life.
Yeah.
That's the funny part. Like, I would go to speak and people would cut me off, and then I'd stop speaking. So, and then people would be like, oh, Jenna, it's something to say. I'm like, well, it's not relevant anymore because we're 4 subjects past it. So it just doesn't matter.
It's too many people.
There's
way too many people.
There's way too many people. So I just became really silent. I became a mute in my family, which I think people think is a lie.
That's why you have a podcast
but
now.
Now I have a podcast.
Now you have your hour.
Now I have my hour to speak.
Yeah.
And even now I still get cut off at family dinner.
I will try not to cut you off. I will try my best.
It's okay.
To not.
But this is a conversation.
Actually, let me cut you off right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're like, no, but my sister Jill did say something funny when I started doing this. She's like, wow, like, we cut Jenna off her whole life. So she put herself on the internet with a microphone. Maybe we should have listened to her because she actually has a thing or two to say. And I was like, it's the nicest thing you've ever said to me, Jill. Thank you.
Yeah.
But it's the truth. They just kept cutting me off, and it's weird, but I don't know. You like it.
Yeah, but posting those links or, it's so embarrassing. Like, hey, guys, listen to my podcast. Come to my comedy show at this bar that 3 people are going to be at.
Yeah.
It's so embarrassing. And it's like when you start a YouTube channel. Like, I have a friend now that's starting a YouTube channel.
Yep.
And, like, seeing him put these videos up, like, it's like you could tell he's embarrassed by it.
In the beginning, it's very much like, I don't want to, like, support that person because it's not cool to do yet.
Yeah.
But once it becomes the cool thing
then
to do, then
you,
people are like, I have been following them since the beginning.
Yeah.
And you're like, but you weren't, because I could see who's commenting and liking.
The content is embarrassing, though. That's the. If we're gonna wrap it up on that, I know it's embarrassing.
So speaking of
self-promotion is embarrassing. Yeah.
Self-promotion is embarrassing. So speaking of the 3 people in a crowd, how do you deal with a crowd that sucks, or like a crowd that maybe just they don't get the jokes?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's work,
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it's easy. Sometimes you could walk out and you could just say hello, and the audience is red hot, and you can like feel the energy before.
Yeah.
And then there's times when you're up there for 30 minutes and you're like, these people do not want to be here. They want to go home. And then it's like you have to like work.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I stopped doing, not to stop it, I think that I started doing is I just started playing to the room that like wanted to listen, to the sides of the room that wanted to listen.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So if there's like a table of people that are just a lost cause and they don't want to be there, I'm not even going to pay attention to them.
That's fair.
There's 80 other people here that want to see the show.
It's like a teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like that was that woman in Wisconsin that couldn't speak English.
Yeah. The one that was heckling me.
I felt like watching that, you wanted to absolutely punch her in the face.
So that's actually a funny story because I did a show at a bar called Twofers in Eden, Wisconsin. And it was during the middle of the pandemic. We went up there. It was packed out. And this lady was heckling the whole time. And I wish I had the video of it. There's a part where... So me and her go back and forth. Mm-hmm. She was drunk beyond belief. She wasn't speaking English. And at one point, she like said something. And I did like this. I'm like, hey, I see you. But as I did it, because she was sitting like kind of sideways, she turned. And I realized she had one eye. So I just went... It was so bad. Like, I mean, like her husband after the show, I mean, they're all drunk. She like followed me to my car and stuff. It was weird.
What'd she say to you?
Nothing. They said nothing. They were just stumbling. I don't know. But yeah, the husband like followed me to my car, and then like the last minute they like turned away. It was very strange.
Oh, that is strange. But, yeah. Well, Wisconsin people are different.
I love Wisconsin. I love the culture of Wisconsin. I love the people of Wisconsin.
Why?
I have been in Wisconsin so much the past 2 years doing comedy, and my girlfriend has a lake house there. But I don't know, Wisconsin culture. I mean, you went to school in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
it's similar.
The culture is just wild. I mean, supper club.
Okay, so what is supper club? Because I still don't know.
Supper club, I guess, is this. It's like a country club where you could pay for like fine dining, but it's cheaper, I guess. I don't know.
So it's their version of a really nice dinner out.
Yes, but it's like more affordable.
Okay.
Like the whole community will come out and eat at a supper club. I'm still confused by it. But then even like ice fishing in Wisconsin, like the Midwest, it's so cool. I mean, like Wisconsin and like Minnesota specifically, they'll have like streets on the ice where like addresses, you could like deliver a pizza there.
Yep.
I don't know. And then like the bar games, like the dice. It's just a really weird, unique cult-like culture.
It's very, they learn to have fun because it's cold all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I just remember, like, when I lived up in Minnesota, their version of what was fun and, like, backroading, and I had girls on my team who would hunt and go ice fishing, and one of them got married, and they asked me to come, and I was like, where is it? And they were like, it's at a campground, and I was like, I'll send you a check.
Yeah.
And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, I know myself. I'm a bougie bitch. It's not happening. I love you. I will be miserable, and I will not, it's not happening.
Yeah.
I love you so much. I am not staying in a barn at a trailer for your wedding where there are 0 outlets. It's just not happening. Like, it is not happening for me.
People in Wisconsin are... First of all, Wisconsin has the best audiences.
Do they really?
Oh, they're amazing. Because, like, I did, where was I? I was in Sheboygan Falls. We went up
What a
to
fun name to
the
say.
UP. It is fun. But we were in the UP. We came down to Sheboygan Falls, and it was in a bowling alley. And I was like, okay, we'll see how this is. But, I mean, there was like 200 people there.
Oh, wow.
Everybody was drinking. It
Yeah.
was just, and they buy the merch, too, you know?
That's even better.
So, I mean, they really appreciate you coming out. And they're good audiences.
Oh.
And they'll laugh at anything.
I love that.
So.
Laugh at anything. So you throw a lot of punches at your girlfriend.
A few. Yeah.
You did one that upset her?
Which one are you talking about?
I don't know. You said there was one that upset her. So you did an appreciation post, and she looked beautiful. So I'm just curious if you can tell what was the joke.
Oh, yeah. There's I'll send you the clip. You could post
Okay.
that. But there's basically a joke where I call her a Republican.
Oh.
Which in hindsight, like nobody cares. But it's
Yeah.
like one of those things where like the first time I did it, she was in the room. And then everyone like kind of looked at her. And I
Because they
think
knew.
it was like the unnecessary attention. She's like, I don't want these people looking at me.
Oh,
you know?
okay. Yeah, that's fair.
And she's not a Republican. I don't. It doesn't matter either way. But I feel like I have to clarify that, or
Yeah.
people are going to be staring. I don't know.
I mean, I just think some people know how to take a joke these days, and then some people don't. Like the last comedy show we went to, actually it was, I haven't been to a comedy show in a while, and we went to the Zanies out in Rosemont, and the guy who was the like headliner, I didn't know who he was, but he kept trying to like feel the room out because he was ending this joke with like a bang, like, and it was like, this is a joke. I'm actually not racist. I'm just telling you racist jokes. Do we understand? And he unzipped his jacket, and on his shirt it said, I'm not, and on the back said racist.
What?
And what? I was like, is this guy for real? And then, of course, one of the people that we were with bought the shirt. And I was like, dude, love the shirt. But, like, there's no way in hell I would ever wear that. Like, but he wore it, like, proud. Like,
I feel like if you're wearing a shirt that says "I'm not racist," you might be racist.
racist.
Yeah, you might be racist.
I mean, our brains don't process the word no, so all I'm seeing is I'm racist.
I'm racist. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I mean,
I
but
kind of want the merch.
I know. I'll figure out his name. I don't know it off the top of my head. My favorite thing that you've ever done, and I know on, like, TikTok it has, like, over, like, 600,000 views, is the Waka Flocka story.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
which, like, is awesome because I still don't understand TikTok and I don't know the process of going viral. So I have a very, like, unnatural love for Waka Flocka, which I think people would look at me and never suspect. But going to De La Salle from 2007 to 2011 was like the peak prime of Waka Flocka.
Yeah, that was
okay,
like
that was his moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I obviously love sports. I never missed a basketball game. Our basketball team at that time was like awesome, and their walkout song was No Hands. So that was like my anthem. And I'll never forget the time we had an assembly at the boys' school. And my senior year, it would have been, I had class there. So my girlfriend was like, can you just drive my car, park it, and then that way when we're leaving the assembly, I don't have to like drive back to this girls' school. I'm like, sure. So mind you, school starts at what, 8 a.m., 8:10? So it's 7:30 in the morning, and I'm blasting, full fucking blast, no hands, driving down 35th, going to the boys' school on like a Friday morning, because like that's what you do, right?
Yeah.
And I never turned the volume down, so when my girlfriend got back in the car, Waka Flocka was on full blast, like to the nines.
And by the way, that's the only way you can listen to Waka Flocka.
That's the only way you can listen.
You can't have him as
No,
background music.
No.
Yeah.
And I like genuinely feel bad for the day that like I meet my husband and we potentially get married, and I want my wedding walkout song to be No Hands.
Oh my God.
I love that song so much, and you know, certain people will probably be upset, which like I don't really care, but it's a jam.
Yeah.
It is a fucking jam. So Waka Flocka gave you tips on how to finger a girl.
No, that's not actually true. That's not actually true. That part's not actually true. So what happened was when I was in high school, I wrote for the Chicago Tribune's high school program. It was like through the Tribune and like the Chicago Reader. It's called the MASH, and basically they sent out these like little student-run newspapers to like every school in the city.
Yeah.
And so I got a job doing that, and so I went to the UIC Pavilion to interview. Well, it was Waka Flocka, Pharrell, and Steve Aoki, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna give you a press
Oh my God,
pass."
that's actually like
it was insane.
That's
It was
insane.
crazy, and I was just like, "All right." It was like the first thing I'd ever done with them. So I'm in the photo pit, I'm just taking pictures, and then my editor texts me, and she's like, DJ, could you go interview this artist? I'm like, what's his name? He goes, Borgore. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't know anything about EDM.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Borgore's there too.
Okay.
So I go and I interview Borgore. I didn't know who he was, but my buddy came with. I got to bring someone, and he was like a huge EDM fan. So he's like, this is Borgore. This is crazy. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then I get another text, hey, now you're going to go interview Waka Flocka. And that's when I was like, what? Mind blown.
Yeah.
Absolutely mind blown. I was 16 or 17. I was wearing jean shorts. I think I was wearing like these camo shorts. It was not a good look.
Please tell me you have no more jean shorts in your closet.
I have one pair.
For when you go back to Europe, I'm assuming? They're European.
I think you just gotta wear them.
Boy shorts?
You gotta wear them when you gotta wear them.
All
you
right.
know? I don't know. We're gonna have a hot summer.
I'm
think
gonna
I'm gonna
need
break
to
them out.
see you in this bar with these shorts on.
So anyway, so then I walk in and interview Waka, and he's being interviewed by someone else.
Yeah.
It's me and my buddy Ryan, and then like he's being interviewed. We're in like this green room, and then this is what's crazy. There was like a knock on the door.
Okay.
And he's like, "Hey man, can you answer that?" And I open the door, and it's just Lupe Fiasco, and he's like, "Yo, what's up, man?" And he like shakes my hand. And I was like, "What the fuck is happening right now?" I was just mind blown. So then like we do the interview and all this, and like he was really shocked that I was 16, 17. He's like, you're for the Chicago Tribune, you're 16, 17. I was like, yeah, kind of, on like a technicality, I guess. And
I guess, I mean, yeah, that is something crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so he was like really like latching onto that because he's like, I was selling drugs at your age. And I was like, and you were probably making more money, you know? But so then him and Lupe are going back and forth about going to a strip club. And I was like, I've never been to a strip club. And they're like, why? And I was like, 16,
because I'm 16 years
17.
old.
Yeah. And he was just like, when you get to the strip club, you got to do this and this. I don't even remember what he was saying. I was kind of just like amazed that I was watching Lupe Fiasco and Waka Flocka Flame talk.
That you're like in the same room and actually in the conversation with them.
Yeah. So that part of the joke didn't actually happen, but I feel like that was an actual question I did want to ask him. That's like something when you're 13, you're 16, 17, that's, I don't know. That's all you're curious about. I don't give a shit about his latest album.
Yeah, you don't care.
Yeah.
You're a teenage boy with hormones running through your
Yes,
body, and
absolutely.
you need to know what needs to be done.
I need to know what
on the
needs to be done.
reciprocating end to make it better.
Yes.
For said lady.
So I did not actually ask him that.
Damn.
I felt like I should have.
I think you.
So.
I feel like he needs to see that clip.
I've tried to get like people to like tag him in it and all that, and I sent it to him on Twitter. He never saw it. And I will say he's the nicest, most humble guy in the world, and I feel like an asshole because I was so intimidated by him. Where I walked in, I was like, hey, it's so nice to meet you. And he's like, hey, what's up, man? How are you? Good to see you. What's your name, DJ? Where are you from? You from Chicago? Hey, what's a good place to eat around here?
Yeah.
And then like the interview I did with him was, it was horrible. But like he was, every time he answered a question, it was like, yeah, we're doing this. I have a good team. Where he was just such a humble guy.
Oh,
I was with him for like 2 hours that night. It sounds like a romantic getaway. It wasn't, but I was with him for like 2 hours that night, and he legitimately did not say "I" one time.
That's amazing.
It was such a good dude.
Oh my God. See, like, I like hearing stories like that because I think people have this like preconceived notion of celebrities, artists, athletes in their head, and then it's like you just talk to them and I'm like, they're just people.
Yeah.
Like, they're just people.
Literally just people.
Just people. But doing that at 16 years old, like, I'd probably shit my pants.
I was
like,
so nervous.
I would, you know, like, it's, you don't know at 16 to be like, okay, just be present and be focused and he's just a person, because at that point you don't really get it.
Yeah. And especially like, I mean, I was 16, 17. I don't even think I was 17 yet. Like, my mom dropped me off at the concert in a Chrysler Town and Country. And I'm going to go, she's like, how was your day? When she picked me up in the same van. I was like, I was just with Waka Flocka Flame. How do you explain that to your mom, you know?
Who doesn't even understand
doesn't
probably
even
who
understand.
Waka Flocka
Doesn't even
Flame
understand
is.
who it is. She's like, okay, you know?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's amazing. He's going to see that clip.
I hope so. I'm going to make it happen.
And then I think you guys do a, like, segment of, like, the Between the Ferns, you know?
Yeah.
And then you ask him, like, the questions you actually want, that you would want to know now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been around the block a time or two.
He's, like, really big into, like, crypto now, from what I understand.
Everyone's
and, like,
really into
streaming.
crypto.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I don't know.
I just don't.
We're focusing on the wrong things.
We're focusing on, I mean, clearly, it's why I'm living above a garage. So
Yeah.
it's going great. I didn't have this written down, but because we kind of talked about it beforehand, I thought it was interesting. You and I were both athletes, and I've always found it interesting of the, like, you're an athlete your whole life, you compete, you do all these really cool things, and then you're done, and no one gives a fuck about you.
Mm-hmm.
And the, like, transitioning from being an athlete to I don't know what to do next. How did you manage that? Or, like, did you have a hard time when you left?
So after college, I played 2 seasons over in Europe.
Okay.
That's how bad I wanted to cling on to that, like, athlete identity. I'm like, I'm gonna go to Europe to play baseball.
Yeah.
Which is just insane. But like when I came home, like you do feel like you play sports your whole life, you play travel, you play college, whatever. You feel like that's like your identity, and then you stop playing, and you're like, now what do I do?
Now what? Yeah.
That's like one day waking up and like no longer being Puerto Rican. Like it's
That's
just completely stripped away from you.
It's a really good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because you don't even want to. I don't know if you felt this way, but I know I felt this way of like when I stopped playing. I was kind of like forced into retirement because of my injury, and like many other things too. But I didn't even tell people. Like when I like then went into the like, I started working in restaurants right away. Like I never told people that I played because I was like, am I gonna be that like has-been washed up person that talks about her like glory days? Like I don't want to fuck it. That person's sad.
It's sad.
I don't want to be that sad fucking person.
I'm that person though. I'm sad. Actually, so this is actually really funny. I was down in Dubuque. I was headlining the comedy bar in Dubuque.
Okay.
And I got to bring like a guest spot with me. So I brought this kid Zach, and he played like high school baseball and all that. He's a really good young comic from. He lives up by DePaul, but he's from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So I brought him with me, and we were walking through Dubuque. It was after the Saturday show. And he's like, I just don't get why we needed to run a 60-yard dash. And I was like, dude, you got to let it go. I'm like, you got to let it go. And he was like, have you? I'm like, no, but like, you need to. like,
It's time.
Yeah.
It's time to.
But I felt that. He's like, why do we have to run a 60-yard dash in baseball? It makes no sense. And I was like, you bring up good points, man. You know?
I mean, I could say the same thing about. We had to, for my travel team, we practiced out at Lyons Township High School. So it was the South Campus, not the North Campus, or if that makes a difference to any person watching or listening to this. But we had to run around the school 5 times. We're not long distance fucking runners in volleyball. It's short spurts. So I was like, you know, then there's that like competitiveness that comes over you where you're like, well, I'm going to get this done. Like, I'm not going to be the fastest person, but I'm not going to be in the bottom 5 of this pool. I'll be in the top 5 of this pool at least.
One of my favorite things about volleyball, specifically women's volleyball, is when you watch a game and a team loses a point and then they like throw the ball back with a little bit of sass.
Oh yeah. My favorite.
I noticed that. Like I look for that. I love
like
that.
Rolling in the opposite direction.
Oh.
Or it's like what we were. This was actually like a conversation that you have because when the team gets the point, they have this momentum. so you like kind of hold on to the ball a little longer.
Yeah.
So you slow down the momentum of them getting the ball.
Yeah, that's like stepping out of the box
and then
to a
you
pitcher.
just like slowly roll it back. Like, whereas like if I have momentum, I'm like, give me the ball now. It's because you want to keep it going, and then as you're going, like if I'm the one who's like serving and I'm on a roll, I want that ball to come back fast because I don't want them to have time to regroup or figure shit out. But when you're on the opposite end of that, yeah, you totally like you throw. Yeah. There have been times where like I've had teammates, I'm like, fucking try to get the ball, and they'll do it.
I played second base in college, and that's like when you get the third out, you're supposed to leave the ball by the mound. I would literally just, if I made the last out and I had the ball, I would just drop the ball by second base. I'd be like, let the pitcher walk.
That's a savage move.
It was such a stupid thing, but like I always thought it was funny.
It is funny.
But I've had umps to be like, what do you do? You can't do that. Like, bring the ball to the mound.
You're like, why not? It's not that far away from the mound.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like doing it. I like being the asshole. It was fun.
That's all right. We all have a little bit of. Well, we all have assholes, but we're all assholes at the end of the day. So I have a source that told me a really funny story about you, and I need to know why you ended up doing this.
I'm very curious on what this is now.
Yeah. You started a group chat with all of your Tinder dates.
Okay. I did. Yeah.
What made you say, I'm going to put every girl that I've gone on a date with in a group chat and let's just see where it goes?
Content. I needed content.
Have you used any of that content at any of your shows?
No, absolutely not.
Was it because it was that bad?
No, it did really well on Twitter. It went viral on Twitter. It was very fun. It was fun for a while, and then like the insults, because everyone was like in on it. It was like, oh, this would be a fun thing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, like, I was 19 when I did this. I'm 26 now. I would have never done this now. But I put every girl I'd like ever gone on a date with on Tinder in like a group chat, and I just said, hey ladies, I'm just looking for feedback. And at first it was like, oh, like, don't try and meet my mother on the first date. It was like stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And then it turned into like, you're short, nobody likes you, you suck. And I didn't put that on Twitter. That stuff started getting hurtful, and I left the group chat. And I think the girls, they get together like once every 2 years and they have drinks. So
the one girl that I know, I don't know if she was a full participant in the feedback.
Yeah, so I know who your source is.
Yes.
No, she was a mole that I planted in there.
Yes,
she's a good friend, and I planted her in this as a mole.
So
absolutely.
She said, because when I told her I was talking to you, I was like, I can't even give you like a hint because the hint's going to be so obvious. And she was like, no, we ended up becoming like really good friends, which was like a really cool thing. But she said, I did enjoy being in it. She's like, but eventually it fizzled out.
Yeah,
like
thank God. Thank God.
Thank God, man. Oh my God, thank God. So Craig's mom really made sandwiches? How many sandwiches did she make?
I like that you're referencing that tweet. So I played Division III baseball.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend was a Division I athlete. And like she would be like, so who catered your games? And if you play like Division III, Division II, as you know, JUCO, you don't. There's no catering. Someone's mom just brings food.
Yeah.
I didn't play with anybody at IAT named Craig. I think it would have been like Nick Bledsoe's mom but I think Craig was just a funnier.
Craig sounds way better.
Craig's the funnier name.
Craig's the funnier name. I had a similar situation. So I went from 2 Division II schools. My freshman year, our program was like, I'll say. So we had budgets. It was like, we're going out to dinner, you're going out to lunch, you can spend $10 at lunch. You can spend $15.
Now, if you guys played well, would you get more money?
No, they didn't care.
Really?
They didn't give a shit.
When I was in NAIA school in Indiana, if we played bad, I swear to God, like if we had a really good game, he'd be like, you guys are getting $10 for food.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know, like what you do is like the whole bus would pull over into like a McDonald's, and you can get $10 of food. But actually, if you know this, depending on the state you're in, there's no tax on certain organizations.
Yeah.
So like, your $10, you have to make so you're getting 10 cheeseburgers for $10 because there's no tax. You got to make it count.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if we played well, it would be like $10, $12.
Yeah.
And then like if we played really bad, I swear to God, there was days he'd be like $6. You could have $6.
Yeah. There was a day where it was the day I tore my wrist, so I was really like, shit's going on in your body. You don't know what's happening. And I was like super emotional, and I just really wanted a cookie. Oh no, I wanted a bag of chips. That's what I wanted. We went to Quiznos. And I got a Sammy, and I really wanted a bag of chips. So I asked my coach, because I was like, hey, like, is it okay if I get this bag of chips? And they were like, do you need this bag of chips? Is this bag of chips going to make you perform that much better? And I was like, I don't need the bag of chips. And then I just broke down and I started crying. And I remember my one teammate came over to me. She's like, what's wrong? And I was like, tell me what makes you happy. Because I was so sad. I was like,
this is not about the chips. This is not about the chips.
This is not about the chips. I was like, I'm so sad right now. I need you to tell me what makes you happy. Like, tell me what makes you happy. And I had like tears pouring on my face. And she's like, you know what makes me happy, Jenna? A nice fat cock in me. And I was like, and I won't say her name, but it was so her, and it was like her humor, a little bit true too. And I was like, thank you, because I just needed to laugh. Like, I needed to laugh, and it was the funniest thing ever. But then when I went up to Minnesota, I remember our first time going out. Like, again, we had way better program, way more money. But the first question I asked was like, hey, what's our budget for breakfast? And they looked at me and they were like, Jenna, what are you talking about? And I felt like such an abused puppy coming into this program, because I was so like guarded and scared, because I felt like I was beaten by my last two coaches. A little bit of metaphorically and physically. And they were like, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm like, I mean, like, can we only, like, what's the budget for how much we can spend on food? And they were like, just get whatever you want.
Just get the $5 hot and ready. You're fine,
You're
dude.
fine,
You're
dude. Get whatever you want. And then I remember like all my teammates buying like multiples of things. And I was like, oh, so there really is no budget.
Yeah.
Like, we're good.
It's also such a weird thing to be mad at somebody spending $6 on food.
Isn't it though?
Yeah.
I think about now today, I'm like, what can you get for $6?
Now every time I go to lunch,
you can get your coffee for $6.
$2 if you buy between the hours of 4 and 6.
All right.
America runs on Dunkin'. 2 and 6. I fucked that up. But
you were so close.
I was so close. It would have been a good little ad.
DJ.
Well, it's too late now.
No, it's never too late. Everybody makes mistakes.
But it is. I don't know. It's such a ridiculous thing to not feed athletes correctly.
Yeah.
Like when you're playing a college sport, you need to eat good.
Yeah,
good
you
food,
do.
And not Little Caesars and Subway and Quizno and Chipotle and Panda Express.
It's so bad for you.
It's horrible, yeah. But that's the thing. Another thing, like once you stop playing sports, nobody tells you, hey, you can't eat the same way that you cannot eat the way you've been eating, man. Yeah. Those 5,000 calories, you got to cut it out.
Oh no, they came and they crept in.
Oh yeah.
I remember we used to go, because I was up in Minnesota. Where did we go to? Perkins.
Perkins is great.
Okay, went to
Perkins.
Perkins.
Love Perkins.
But I have I know now, but at the time I had really bad like stomach sensitivities, and the options that they had were just atrocious, like so bad. And I flat out said to our GA, I was like, listen, I will shit my pants if you make me continue to go to Perkins. And he was like, I go, no. I'm like, listen, I may not be on the court. It's worse. I'm going to be on the sideline with you guys. And you know what's going to happen? I'm going to crop dust the whole time. And you're going to be a part of this. And you're going to smell it. So what do you want? What do you want, Craig? Do you want to be a part of this? His name was Tyler. But,
okay. Yeah, Craig's funnier.
Craig's funnier. Yeah. And I'm so blunt and slightly vulgar that they were like, I can't believe you're saying this right now. Because everyone up in Minnesota's like, oh, that's so sweet. You know, oh, no, you're so kind. And here I am just like.
People in the Midwest are way too nice.
Way too nice.
Like when I was in the UP, we were in Naguani, Michigan. We did this really cool pizza place / bar called Pasquale's. They've been doing comedy there for like 15, 20 years.
Why do I feel like I've heard of this before?
You probably have. I don't know. But it's this small town, and during the winter is the only time they do comedy. It's like once, I think they do it like once every other week or something.
Okay.
But the whole town comes out. Yeah. So I was up there. Dave Splares took me with him. And then we stay at this place called, you're supposed to stay at this place called the Triangle with like motel. That's like the place you're supposed to stay.
Oh, that sounds
scary. Which it's like 10 feet by 10 feet, but that one closed. And then we were staying at whatever it was. It was like the Wonderland Motel. I mean, that was like a shoebox. So we're staying there. We do the show. After the show, these townies are like, hey, do you want to come? We're having like a little family party. And we're like, yeah, I guess. So we go. It's like a family party. There's like kids running around. I mean, they're making us food. The one guy's like, do you want anything to drink? And I was like, do you have like a Diet Coke? And the one guy's like, I think I have one in my car. And it was like negative 10 degrees. This guy walked 3 blocks to get me a Diet Coke. And I was like, I don't want it. He's like, buddy, if you want a Coke, you're getting a Coke. And I was like, but just the nicest people. Like, just so, like, literally after the show, they're like, thank you so much for coming to Naguani. Thank you so much. And we're like, yeah, man, anytime.
That's adorable.
Just way too nice. Way too nice.
Yeah, they're very nice up there, and Minnesota too. But people in Minnesota, they call it it's like, oh, they're being Minnesota nice to you, nice to your face, and then turn around.
That's kind of fun.
I mean, it is fun. You learn to pick up who's actually genuine and who's not. But I think, that's a skill you learn over time. What's the end goal with this? Like, do you want to have your own like HBO special? Do you want to do like comedy movies? Like, is that like what's the on the path somewhere?
I don't know. I want to do stand-up full-time. I would like to headline across the country first. I don't know. I don't know if I want to act. I think it could be fun. I think I'd be bad at it. But there's a great Mitch Hedberg quote. He's like, stand-up comedy is like the only thing where once you get good at it, they're like, now do something else. Which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just really love doing stand-up comedy. I love performing. I love writing. So I don't know. Anything that lets me continue to do stand-up. I mean, obviously you want to sell out arenas. You want to... Anybody that's like pursuing anything in like the arts or like entertainment, I don't know why you wouldn't just shoot for like the absolute highest peak, you know?
You might as well.
Yeah, specifically with stand-up too. I mean, you're going to open mics every night. You're getting just shit on by audiences. Like, it's not fun.
Yeah.
A lot of this isn't fun. Like, when you're doing a weekend at a club, that's great. But, like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, going to, like, 5 open mics a night, like, that's not... It's fun, but it's not, it doesn't fulfill you.
It's that's where you have to get back to the, like, you're doing this because you love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you don't love it, then you just get out. Yeah. There's no nice way of saying that, but it's the truth. But, yeah, shoot for the moon. Shoot for the galaxy. Shit, like, a different universe. Like, because it's like, just why not?
Yeah, I mean, I could get hit by a truck tomorrow, and at the end of the day, I want to be like, well, he tried his best. Like, if I never do comedy full time, if I never do it, at least I'll know, like, I did everything I could.
You did everything you could. All right. Okay, we're going to end with some ridiculous random rapid fire questions.
Okay.
There's no shot clock, but I always say try not to think about it, like, too long.
Okay.
Okay. What's been your best pickup line?
My best pickup line? I think I met my girlfriend on Hinge, and I think I just said, "Do you like Dunkin' Donuts?"
That was your opening line?
I think that was the opening line. But I think what I would have liked to said was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go steal the Declaration of Independence. Can you help?"
That would have been great.
But that's like a pretty corny thing. But I think that's a good little icebreaker.
But I think it's a great icebreaker.
Yeah.
Because then the tension's done.
Yeah.
Again, going back to that TED Talk.
You gotta break it. You gotta break the tension.
You're creating a bridge of connection there. Who are your comedy influences?
Gary Goldman, some great Chicago comics, Kristen Toomey, Jeannie Dugan, who's actually from Canaryville. She's fantastic.
Okay, I
She's
saw
one of the
her.
best.
She is hysterical.
She's the absolute best. On like a national level, I really love Dave Attell, Gary Goldman, Louis C.K. Beth Stelling had an incredible special called Girl Daddy. She was a Chicago comic. She's, huge right now. Dan Soder is great. Joe List, Mark Norman, Sam Morril, guys like that. Locally, though, there's so many good comics in Chicago. Like I was saying, there's Kristen Toomey, Jeannie Dugan, Eric Emerson, Luca Farrow, Vic Pagna, Tyler Fowler, guys like that, that are just in Chicago, just killing it right now.
Yeah.
So
I love that. Okay. Funniest moment from playing baseball overseas?
Funniest moment playing baseball overseas. I think I'm trying to get a good one. I was playing in Belgium, and we were playing a Dutch team from Belgium that spoke Dutch. And I remember I swung it like a slider that was like 3 feet in the dirt, and their dugout in broken English was like, "Make American players good at baseball again," which I thought was very funny. Actually, this is my favorite moment. I was walking through Dublin, Ireland, not Ohio. I was walking through Dublin, Ireland with a baseball bat after like one of our training sessions. And they call it training in Europe. It's not practice. They're like, "Oh, we're going to training, lad,"
Yeah.
So, and they don't call the baseball field a field. They call it a pitch.
Oh, yeah.
Which
that's
I hate.
I had a really hard time when I was writing sports scripts and talking about like football in Australia, and they were like, "No, it's not a field. It's a pitch." I was like, "What's a pitch?"
It's a pitch. I didn't know what it was.
It blew my mind. Yeah.
But so I was walking through Dublin. I had my backpack with my baseball bat, and this Irish guy comes up to me and he's like, "Lad, can I see that Louisville Slugger?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I take it out, I hand it to him. I'm like, "You ever hit a baseball?" And he's like, no, but I've hit a few Brits. And I was like,
wait, hit a few what?
British people. I was like, he was completely serious. He was so serious. To me, that was like I was just like, oh my God, like there's still a civil war going on, kind of.
They still hate each other. Oh my God, that's great. What was your first job?
Working at Line Drive, baseball academy.
Okay.
Worked the desk, yeah.
You worked the desk?
Yeah.
Not with the children?
I ended up giving lessons there at the end of it before they sold, but yeah.
Okay. Did you like it, or was
Loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever been to Line Drive Baseball Academy, that place is the go. I mean, it's like it's like where Rocky would train. You know, like it had like a little grit to it.
Yeah.
But it was the best. It was the best place in the world.
Fantastic. What has been the kindest thing a stranger has done for you?
I was in Royal Oak, Michigan. I was at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle. I was doing a weekend there, opening for Dan Smith. They're a great comic. And after the show, I was selling like merch. And this guy came up to me, and he was like, hey man, how much? I was selling stickers. He's like, how much for like half that stack of stickers? I was like, I don't know, man, $50. He hands me a 50, picks up half of it, takes one sticker, puts the rest down, and just walks away. He's like, thanks for coming to Michigan. I was like, people are so nice.
Oh, that is so nice.
Yeah, actually, that happened twice because I was at Laugh Boston with Jeff Dye, and I was selling stickers after a show.
Yeah.
And this guy, who I'm gonna shout him out, his Instagram, I think it's Ready. Really nice guy, but he came up to me, and he was like my age.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, man, can I Venmo you for like 2 stickers? I'm like, yeah. And I gave him 2 stickers, and he never Venmoed me. And I was like, man, this guy just stole 2 of my stickers. And then he Venmoed me $50. So people are like really generous, which is like people just really appreciative that you're coming to their cities. You know?
They really do. People are very, there's more good than bad.
Oh, yeah.
You just have to find it.
Oh, yeah.
I really believe it. And too much of the bad gets a lot of attention. What is your drink of choice?
Probably just a Coors Light.
Really?
Pretty simple guy.
Pretty simple guy?
Yeah.
All right. This is my favorite question to ask people from Chicago. We always got a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I will give you my examples that will help you. I always want to know what's the craziest guy you got. So I have a meat guy. Comes to my house, slices the meat, put it straight in the fridge. I have a foot detox guy. And I have an Amazon Fire Stick jailbreaking guy.
Yeah, I feel like my dad, I feel like, I remember like my dad would come home with like Allen Brothers steaks. Because he's like, yeah, somebody that I know sister works there. That's a pretty normal one. We had a guy getting Zunes. He's like, yo, I got Zunes. You want some Zunes? Remember those? It was like before, like it was like an MP3 player.
Wait, I do remember.
This was like a long time ago. Some guy in my neighborhood was like, hey, if you want to buy a Zune from me, I got a bunch.
I do remember those.
Yeah.
It was like when iPods were coming out too, right? Okay.
Yep.
This is making sense to me now. Yeah.
There's one of those guys. Man, there really is a guy for everything.
There's a guy
isn't
for
there?
everything. I remember we were coming. Was I home for spring break? And we wanted to go to a Blackhawks game. And I was like, Dad, like, and it was like when the Hawks are doing well. I mean, now they are just painful to watch. But my dad was like, oh, yeah, no, I got tickets. So we got us 4 tickets, and me and my siblings went. And we were in the like Cadillac level. And I was like, Dad, how much you pay for this? Like, we don't need, he's like, oh, it was a favor. And I'm like, what kind of favor is this? And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
I don't want to know. He moved something.
Yeah. Actually, so I had to get a new camera. I want to get like a new 4K camera, and I went online and I found this guy on OfferUp, and he was like, it's like $1,000 camera, Amazon Prime Choice 4K camera. It's like, I mean, it's made by Panasonic. It's great. And this guy was selling it for like $400.
Shut up.
So I'm like, dude, I'll come buy this thing right now. Where are you at? He's in Manhattan, Illinois. So I make the 40-minute trip. Mm-hmm. I get out there. This guy works at the Amazon distribution center.
Stop it.
And I'm like, and I'm meeting him. He's like on his lunch break. He's like, yeah, I got like this and AirPods. I was like, did you? He's like, no. These were my cousins. I was like,
sure.
I'm not going to ask any more questions. And then he's like, how about this, bro? Instead of $400, how about you just give me $140 right now? And when you get home, just send me another $100. And I was like,
so we went from $1,000 camera to $400 to $240.
Yes, to $240. And then what's crazy is I sent him the 140, or I paid him 140.
Yeah.
And then I got home like, yeah, man, it works and everything. He's like, all right, man, just like send me like 50. And I was like, it's like the worst salesman ever. But also, then he's like, I have AirPods, I got all this stuff. I'm like, and these are all from your cousin? He's like, yeah, for my cousin. And I was like,
well, I am in need of a camera, so maybe you can hook me up with...
I feel like that man's cousin is either a tech guy or he's in prison right now. I feel like it's one of the two. Yeah.
I'm going to go with prison.
Probably in prison.
I'm going to go with prison.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I bet he's out. I bet he's fine. I bet he has, like, a garage, like, totally alphabetized with electronics.
Well, this is the thing. Daddy Bezos is watching this. If you're watching this, Daddy Bezos, I'd do it again.
Same.
I would do it again.
I would do it, too. That's incredible. Cameras are expensive.
They're so expensive.
Which is why I film everything on my phone.
Yeah.
Because I'm like... And the quality's better than the camera
phone quality
is
amazing, too, on iPhones now. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, so I'm like, why would I actually bought 2 cameras, but I'm like, I just think the quality sucks, but I also probably haven't, like, taken the time to, like, figure the camera out.
Yeah.
So maybe I should take the time to figure the camera out.
I don't know. I've watched your videos. The quality is pretty great.
Yeah,
So.
well, I just use this now.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Easier.
I think that's all you need.
That's all you need. Okay, what's the best piece of advice someone's giving you?
I just heard this recently. It was like, are you listening? They said, are you waiting to talk, or are you actually listening? That's pretty, because I'll find myself doing that, because I'm like all over the place. I'm a scatterbrain. Like someone will be telling me something, and I'm like, you know. So to me, that was a pretty good one. Another great quote. I don't know who said it. I don't know where it's from. It's like, if you worry and it happens, you just fucked yourself twice. So if you're afraid that it's going to happen, don't worry about it, because even if it happens, then you just ruin everything leading up before that too.
That's so true. That's so true. I like the listening one.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've probably had to get better at it, because when you interact with an audience, you can't, you have to go off of what they're giving you.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to read the room.
It's completely active listening, because you don't know. You never know what someone's going to say to you. What's been the weirdest thing an audience member has said to you?
I had a lady come up to me after the show, and she said, if it makes you feel any better, I couldn't tell that you were Asian. And I said, I don't know what that means, but I don't think it's good. That was a weird one. That's probably one of the weirdest.
Did she look like a Karen?
It wasn't. It was in Sheboygan Falls. It was in Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin, which was very funny. Yeah, probably that. That's probably the worst. Actually, I did Coral Gables Comedy Club in Saugatuck, Michigan, and I was filming my set. And it was just, it's usually a good room from what I hear. And I'm only saying that so they book me again because I need the money.
Got you.
But, it was so rowdy. I was opening for this guy, Dave Dyer. It was so rowdy. I went back. I couldn't even, nobody was even listening to me, you know? And I felt bad for people that actually were trying to. Because, I was just getting heckled the whole time, whatever. But then I go back and I listen to my set. And next to my camera was this table of 5 white women. And the whole time you just hear, he's not funny. He's not good. He sucks. And then they were shooting spitballs at the headliner's wife. Just crazy people. Crazy people. There's so many crazy people in this world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we got some crazy people in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
A lot.
But you know what? That's why I like living on the South Side. It's like normal people.
It's
they're crazy, but they're real life people. When I'm in Lincoln Park, I'm all these fucking people are from Ohio or Michigan. These people aren't even from here.
That is one of the reasons why. I've had so many people. I actually just had someone reach out to me. They were like, "Hey, I think I have a job for you, but it's in Atlanta." And I was like, "No, just no. Thank you, really appreciative, but I want to stay here." And it was because of I worked in Lincoln Park for so long, and I was like, it just felt so forced.
Yeah.
Everything just didn't feel right. Whereas I like the feeling of I have my neighborhood bar, I have my neighborhood coffee shop, I have your sandwich place, your pizza place. I can walk down the block and I know all my neighbors. I like that.
Yeah.
And I get that people don't know what that is, but to me that's the most normal thing on the planet.
Yeah.
And we think people are normal here. People are not normal here.
No, they're absolutely not. So where I live, there's a new used to be Parisi's Hot Dogs. Have you ever been there?
No.
It's right by Hale Park. It's a little hole in the wall hot dog stand, but it was in the neighborhood forever. They sold, and then they opened this place called 63rd Street Rice. And I go on there, I'm like, okay, I want to go, support the new place.
Right.
and I go to the reviews, and it's like, for a Chinese restaurant, I was disappointed to see Mexicans behind the counter working. And I was like, that's weird. I'm like,
that's a weird Yelp review.
but like every Chinese restaurant I've been to, it's like the families working there, especially like in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean? Like, and I have friends whose like families own Chinese restaurants. And they're like, yeah, like we just be after school in the restaurant. So I'm like, there's no way that this Chinese restaurant is going to have Mexican people working behind the kitchen. That's such a weird dynamic, you know? And then I get there, and Jenna, I kid you not, it's a Vietnamese restaurant.
Yeah.
They're not Mexican. They're Vietnamese. This person didn't know.
The difference?
Well, just didn't know that there could be like Vietnamese-looking people.
Oh, that's bad.
But it's like, why even put that online?
Well, that's just like a weird review. Also, having worked in restaurants for 8 years, every restaurant in the city of Chicago, every person in the back of the house is Mexican.
Yeah.
Your favorite Italian restaurant,
Yeah.
your high-end wherever, Michelin stars, America runs because of Mexicans.
Yeah, 100%.
1,000%.
1,000%.
1,000%. Like, I don't care, your head chef may be some high French man or woman or whoever that has studied insane culinary, but they're not the one who's in charge of the pasta station, the salad station, the pizza station, the steak station. Like, it's all... Literally, it's all run by...
I completely agree with you.
Oh, my God.
Also, I do want to say this. I feel like people at home, specifically people on the South Side, need to listen to this. If your parents are on Facebook and they're in the neighborhood Facebook page and they're actively posting on there, you need to put your parents into a fucking house, okay? Put them in the house. They keep saying racial slurs on Facebook. It's a private group, but there's 3,000 people from the neighborhood on it. You got to stop doing that. It's not a good look for any of us.
No, it's really bad.
It's not.
It's really bad. And you know what also needs to go is the... I don't know if you feel this way with anyone... that's older that you know of, the what's the app? The Citizen app?
Oh, I will never download that.
No.
I'll never look at it.
No, just get rid of it.
Yeah.
My favorite is they're like, someone thinks that there's gunshots. I'm like, people were literally blowing off fireworks.
It's literally always fireworks.
It's always fireworks.
Always fireworks.
We can't say always because...
Sometimes it's not fireworks.
Sometimes it's not fireworks here. But just get off the Citizen app because, again, it's that worrying.
Yeah.
It's that saying of worrying.
Are you on the neighborhood Facebook page here?
I'm on the Bridgeport one, but I turned off the notifications.
You had to turn off the notifications.
Okay, there is a guy in the group who... There were two things that happened. The first one was someone said, and I actually thought this was a great marketing scheme. They were like, hey, I lost a diamond. It's either in the Village or Kelly's. I will pay $10,000 to anyone who finds it. Okay, brilliant. It is a brilliant... If I'm a business owner...
Is he just getting people into the bar?
You're just getting people in the bar.
Yeah, okay. That's
it's
kinda
brilliant. The other one is there's a guy...
Also, that's like the only way to get somebody to go to Canaryville.
Unless you're from Canaryville.
Unless you're from Canaryville. Shout out Canaryville.
We love my Canaryville people who listen to this. But there was also someone in the Bridgeport Facebook page who I don't know... I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but they clearly post things to get other people riled up because they're so false.
Yeah.
And I wish I knew an example off the top of my head, but my cousins will screenshot them, and we have like a group chat, and they'll send it, and I'm like, this guy clearly knows like what he's doing because he's just doing it to get some like content material because it's fantastic.
I'll give you an example of one that's
Please.
always in like a Southside neighborhood Facebook page. I saw a minority walking down the street today. They look suspect. And then someone comments, what were they doing? Walking. And you're like...
Guys, we can't do this
We
anymore.
can't. Or like with the vaccine shit. I was like, okay, I don't give a fuck what your opinion is on the vaccine. Why are you putting it in this Facebook page?
No
like
one cares.
these old retired city workers, they need to get the fuck off the internet.
I also find it funny that our parents were like, you need to get off the internet. Don't believe everything that you see on the internet. And now we're the ones parenting our parents about
Yeah,
the internet.
they ruin. I mean, Facebook sucks in general, but they ruin that app completely.
I know. I mean, it was good for a moment, but it's still huge, which is wild to think about. But Facebook's kind of taken a slow downfall, I feel like. It's Mark Zuckerberg's fault.
It is his fault.
It's totally his fault.
He's a lizard person. He's not real.
No, he's not real. He is crazy. But yeah, no, get out of the Facebook groups.
Get out of the Facebook groups.
Also, times are changing. It's okay for anyone to walk down the street.
It's okay.
It's literally okay.
It's going to be okay.
We're going to be fine. Everyone's fine. And if they're that suspect, just say hi to them and ask how they're doing. Because you know what? I bet they're your fucking neighbor.
They probably
I bet
live
they're your
here.
fucking neighbor, and you have no idea about
Yeah.
it.
There's also just like some of the weird, like they just post. There was one. It was in the Bridgeport page. Some lady like lost a scarf on by the red line. You know the.
It's gone.
No, but the guy he held a picture of the scarf, and he like took a picture of it and he posted. He's like, "You were wearing blue denim. The scarf flew from your neck and it landed on the ground.
Oh, that's
I
crazy.
watched you as you landed on the 3:15 train." It was like something out of the movie You or the TV show You. It was like straight, like it was so weird. And this guy's posting this into the Facebook page, and he's like, "If this is your scarf, please contact me." Absolutely not. That if that was my scarf, I'm not fucking looking at you again.
If it was my late grandmother's scarf, I think she would want me to never wear that scarf ever
Yeah.
again.
I'm gonna send you a screenshot of it, and I want
Please
these
do.
people to see it. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's weird. That is really weird. Okay, fill in the blank. DJ Rybski is what?
Let's do that again. I think I got one,
Okay.
but I don't know the word yet. I feel like it's gonna come to me this time we say it.
Okay.
All right.
DJ Rybski is
Obsessed.
obsessed
Yeah.
with.
Literally, with comedy, like I
Okay.
mean, it's like not, it doesn't turn off.
Right.
But when I get into something,
Yeah.
I like dive into it too much,
Oh,
like too much.
You fall down that rabbit hole hard.
Like when the world shut down and there was a pandemic and I couldn't do comedy, I just like picked up my guitar, which I'm not good at,
Mm-hmm.
and for 2 weeks I would just play guitar for like 10 hours a day. Like it's not good. And then my girlfriend's like, "Dude, you gotta stop talking about playing the fucking guitar. Nobody cares." I'm like, "You're right. I'm sorry. I can't turn it off." But that's like where if I get really into like World War II,
Yeah.
I will just binge World War II for like a month.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I know everything about World War II, but I'll know nothing. So it'll be like,
What's been your latest rabbit hole fall down?
ooh. I'm gonna say lately, it's probably been. That's a good question. I feel like now I've been so busy, I don't really have one. But I feel like the last thing I got really, really into was Sebastian Junger books. He's like a really good author, and I've read like 4 of his books in the past year.
Oh, wow.
That's not really obsessed. I just wanted to seem like I read. I don't
Yeah.
read. I'm sorry. I just lied to you guys.
Oh, that's mean.
Yeah.
I go through phases with reading. Like, I'll either read like 4 books in a month, and then I'll stop for like 6.
I'll pick up a book. I'll read half of it. I'll be really into it. And then if I skip one day reading it, that book's going to sit there for 6 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I totally feel that. My latest obsession has been period pieces. I can't. So I'm obsessed. You've never watched Bridgerton?
I haven't watched Bridgerton.
Okay. I just feel like you could use a lot of material from that.
Probably,
Because
yeah.
I have so many questions since watching Bridgerton. One being the way that like high society worked back then. I should say that I'm obsessed with period pieces at the moment. That's my big obsession right now. And like the way that women were married off and how the job market worked, and women had dowries, and what made a husband suitable, and it was rarely for love. But then I think about how it was kind of arranged, which is still very popular in like Indian culture, and they have the highest success rates in marriages.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so maybe we're doing something wrong.
That's a good way to look at it.
And like that's been my rabbit hole that I've fallen down lately that I can't get out of.
When my first season over in Europe, when I was in Ireland, I learned about gypsies. Like these like Roma like travelers, as they call them.
Right.
And like they're all over Europe. They basically just caravan around, and it's like crazy. Like the whole culture of it is insane. Like when I lived in Belgium, they rented like part of the hill that our field was on from us.
Okay.
And they would just have their trailers there, and like the kids would run around. I mean, the whole culture of like Roma travelers in Europe is just this crazy. Like it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But it also seems kind of free. Like literally, these people in big caravans with all their little trailers, they just go around, and then they don't really own property.
No.
They're like kind of, I don't know. The weddings they have are insane. It's like big. You ever see like my big gypsy wedding? Is that what it's called?
It's on TLC?
Yes.
I feel like I've seen a preview for it, and it looks really weird, but also very fascinating at the same time.
It's so fascinating. But like, especially like the Irish travelers, it's such a cool little history.
It's a different world.
It's a different world.
It's a different world. But yeah, these marriages and I just find them so. Because I even asked my mom once. I was like, if you could arrange me to be married with someone? Like, who would it be? And she's like, I don't understand the question. And I was like, I think it's pretty straightforward, Kath. Like, if you had to pick someone from the neighborhood that would be like a suitable husband, who would it be?
you sit down their family at Franco's. You're like, hey guys, you're getting married.
Yes.
Now have some chicken parm.
We'll have some chicken parm, and then we'll also take the chicken jardiniere. Thank you very much. But I just find it so interesting, and it's so different, and it's something that I've never thought of before. But not, maybe it's because I'm like almost 30, and every person I've dated, I mean, I know within the first 2 months if it's gonna work or not. When you know you're like courting someone, we'll say you're courting each other, and I'm like, no, I just know it's not gonna work.
Arranged marriages.
Like think about it.
They work. They work.
And it's like it's an Indian matchmaker. I think it's a Netflix show.
Yeah.
And she breaks it down to even the like the astrology, which is a big thing too. Because do you know what your sign is?
Scorpio.
Okay. I don't know off the top of my head, but like Scorpios match well with other. Okay. You know, and I bet if you were to find out your girlfriend's sign, because you guys have been together a while, you're probably very compatible.
I'm gonna ask her.
Ask her, because it's a real thing. Because it's like, as a Sagittarius, I am most compatible with. It was Leos and whatever the season is now. I think whatever March is. I can't remember the sign. But the woman breaks it down even to that, and like your stars, and it's like you guys might not be physically attracted to each other, but like you have a foundation where like your marriage will work for the long haul.
My friend Rangu had an arranged marriage. He's another really good comic, and it seems to be really working out for him. Yeah. It seems to be the move.
Yeah. I just think we've been doing it wrong.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think we're doing it wrong.
Yeah. My girlfriend's Indian, and her mom's Indian. She's half, and I'm afraid that her parents are gonna find someone else. That's what I'm afraid of. So don't do that.
I think we're going to end on that
note. All right, good note. Good note. Can I plug one thing?
Yeah.
I'm headlining the Red Room Comedy Club.
Oh, yes, that was my last thing I wanted to
Oh, yes, go ahead.
No, you go. Yes, say it. When's your next show?
Yeah, so I have shows every day, but the big one that I want you guys to come to, I'm headlining the Red Room Comedy Club in Rogers Park, May 20th. Tickets are only $20. Please buy the tickets. If I don't sell out this show, I'm going to be really sad. So please buy these tickets, Red Room Comedy Club. It's all on my Instagram, at DJ Rybs. Please buy tickets to the show. I really need you guys to come out.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I had a lot of laughs, and as you guys know, I have a very weird love for Waka Flocka. It's incredible. Also slightly embarrassing because I really don't listen to like rap music anymore. Like when I was in high school, I did a lot because I was integrated into it, right? But right now I kind of just listen to oldies and some country and a lot of oldies. So it's funny when people are like, what's your music genre? And I'm like, well, I love Frank Sinatra, Amy Winehouse, Maren Morris, Stevie Wonder. Oh, and throw in Waka Flocka in there, right? I don't know, guys. I don't know. Okay, I said I had a tip for you guys. So here's your tip. Protect your peace. Guys, this is something that I wish I had learned a little sooner in life, if I'm being completely honest. Our girl, T Swift, has some fantastic words of wisdom, and it is from her song, It's Time to Go. And she has this line in the song that says, sometimes giving up is the strongest thing. Sometimes to run is the bravest thing. Sometimes walking out is the one thing that will find you the right thing. And what I find very interesting about that is protecting your peace, guys, means you don't always have to get the last word in. And I know that for me, for the longest time, that was something that like I always wanted the last word. I always wanted that like final jab. But when it comes to this, I have learned that my peace, my sanity, my health is way more important than anyone else, than any argument, than any fight, than anything. So protect your peace. Protect your inner beautiful soul, because in the long run, they are going to be very grateful that you did that and that you took care of them for that. And again, guys, just protect your peace. Namaste. All right, guys, that is all I have for you today. Again, I appreciate you guys always listening. Last thing I will say, if you have not already, hit the subscribe button, leave a 5-star rating, give us a thumbs up, follow us along at Bar Talk with Jenna across the board. And as always, guys, remember to take the time today to realize that we have way more in common with each other than we have different. I'll see you next week. Take care.
Hey everybody, it's closing time. You don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here.